back to the Off-Grid family. Today I'm working on my power pack. I need a bench power supply. I've made one for upstairs and I never recorded it, so I thought I'd make one for down here, but it's going to be a little bit more advanced. It's going to have various different functions like audio player for, I listen to a lot of audiobooks, you see, so it'd be nice to be able to have it playing, you know, straight out through some speakers. It's going to have 5 volt USB ports, 12 volt, 5 volts and 3.3 volt output, various different things. The first thing I'm going to work on is I want a variable power supply, so I'm going to have a voltage regulator and various different things like that. I'll talk you through all the bits I've got so far for it, and then I'll start on, I think, the voltage regulator. I need to sort it out and make it so it's more for what I need. I need to move some of the parts around and so on. Let's get on. Okay, so these are the main parts I'll be using. This is a motor speed driver controller thing. It's not very good, but it's the best I can get. Well, best I can afford. I've got 2 amps, I only need one, but one of them, they're both audio amps. I'm probably going to choose this one to use. This is the voltage regulator that I'm going to be having a little fiddle with first. This was out of basically a laptop cooling thing that broke, so I fixed it. It's got 4 USB ports and various other bits and pieces. These fans will be on the inside to cool everything down. I've got a PSU, power supply unit from an old computer, and I've got a couple of speakers. And I've drawn out a rough design, which I'll show you now, and then I'll get crack on with it. Okay, so this is my rough design. These here are going to be boxes of speakers, and they're going to be held on by neodymium magnets, and they can be moved around. They'll be wired, but I can move them to different places to, you know, change the sound around if I need to. This is LED lighting, so I can actually control lighting directly on the project I'm working on, and I'm thinking about 3D printing this out, but I might not. I might just make it out of PCB or something like that, and then, you know, just stick it on and move it around. This is where the audio jack and everything will be. This will be where at the top, the audio actual jack will pop out, the 3.5mm jack, and that'll be so I can rest my phone here, plug it in. These are the 5 volt USB supplies, and they will have an on-off switch for the entire lot, not just each. Obviously this is where the volume and various other on-off switches and things will be. This will be the main on-off switch for the entire thing. Without that being on, nothing else will work here. This is the voltage regulator, and I'll just quickly show you that. Everything sticks out further than the actual screen, so I'd have to have the screen back inside it. So what I'm thinking of doing is taking off the capacitors. These will be off anyway, and then it will allow me to get it a little bit closer so it won't look so recessed in. So that's what I'm going to be doing in a sec. This is my lighting rig. I've got 2 main bright lights above me now, but I'm going to have various 12 volt bulbs and stuff, which I've done a video on, a review video, so I'll put a little doohickey up for you if you want to see that. This is then the 3, 5 and 12 volt outputs, and they'll each have their own on-off switch as well. So either one for all the 3 volt, one for 5 and one for 12, or one each. I haven't decided with that yet. This here is the motor speed controller, and that'll have 2 banana jacks in, which are like this. They're like the main ones you'd get on old power supplies, and new ones as well, as far as I know. And so each of these outputs will be banana jack outputs. And then this here is going to be a fan, and it can be on suck or blow basically, and that will also come out. And I probably will have neodymium magnets holding it there, and some to hold it to wherever I want on my desk. And that'll be for sucking fumes away or blowing them, depending on what I'm doing. And the neodymium magnets will correspond to little, I don't know, washers or whatever I drill into my desk. So that's about it. I've probably missed something, and when I look through it, I'll put a little label if I have forgotten. But I will be slowly making this over however long it takes me. So I'm going to start off with the voltage regulator now, and I'm just going to desolder parts off of it and make it so that it can come a bit closer to the front display, and make it so that it's a bit more what I need. And then I'll just slowly work on each piece as like an individual module, mainly because I often make mistakes drilling holes, and I don't want to have one big piece of wood or metal or whatever I decide to use, drill a hole in the wrong place and make it all look rubbish. So I'm going to make each individual piece that then screws or pop rivets or something in. So this part is done, and it is this part here. Let me zoom you in. The next part I'm working on is this part here. That is the motor driver with the potentiometer for speed control. I've already measured and cut out the hole. I need to now, for the actual screen, I need to now cut out all of the other screw holes. One thing I haven't done is worked out where I'm putting the actual screws to mount it, but I'll do that again eventually. I'm just making sure that I get the positive and negative on the right side, so I want them to be correspondent throughout the whole project. So, over the right way, and positive is always on the left for me, for this project. Don't know why, just decided to. Right, I purposely made these holes too tight so I can now screw it in, and it's got its own tightness. So it's, you know, the nuts are just an extra safety measure. Now to connect these little things, these basically go around the banana jack clips, and that's where you get your contact from. So if you've got it, try and always use heat shrink tubing or insulation tape of some kind, just to, you know, there's going to be a lot of wires behind here and I want as much of it covered up as possible. Right, now I've just bent that edge around and I'm going to solder to it. There's not much soldering, you know, not much hard soldering on this project at all, really. At the moment, anyway, so far. There we go. So it is now soldered on both sides, and that's not going anywhere. Next one. You'll notice I'm not using black and red wires for my positive and negative. Unfortunately, I am using only scrap wire, all stuff I've collected out of washing machines and whatever. I've made sure it's of the right voltage. You know, it can withstand the right voltage. But I'm just using what I can, and I'll just be very careful when I start putting it together. I will advise not to do it this way. Get your red and your black wires just to make it a lot easier for you. Or if you do use different coloured wires, do it the way I've done it, and stay consistent on each part of the project. So for example, the green and the yellow on this correspond to the same. So I think, yeah, green is negative for both sets of wires, yellow is positive for both sets. I just got to be a bit more careful when it comes to finishing this project off. Okay, that's those done. Okay, that's it for part one. Part two will be out tomorrow. I'll finish off the module I'm on and start another one. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, give it a thumbs up and etc. See you tomorrow.